The Tampa Bay Lightning now up 2-0 on the Montreal Canadiens in the Stanley Cup Final. Gentlemen, our coverage here on the fourth period brought to you, as always, by BitBuy, Canada's #1 cryptocurrency platform. Dennis, let's start with you. A tale of two completely different games. The Montreal Canadiens probably played well enough to win in Game 2, but sometimes in hockey, that's just not how it works, does it?
The funny thing is, Irf, both games 2-1 after two, but two very different games. And to be frank, the games you should win this deep in the playoffs, you have to win. The Habs had to have that game tonight. To me, it was their Game 7. Now you're asking them to beat the Tampa Bay Lightning 4 out of 5. I just don't see it. This was a crucial game for them. They didn't get bounces. They did everything they should have done to win a game tonight, but they never found a way.
No, you touched on it. This was definitely a game they absolutely should have won. This goes back to when they played Vegas in Game 3 last round. They should have won that one. Vegas won. They came back to win a game they shouldn't have won in Game 4. I don't know if it's exactly going to work out this way next game for the Habs the same way, but they did everything right from their side of things. They came out more aggressive. They were very strong in the second period, applying a ton of pressure. Defensively, much more sound. Their top 4 guys on the blue line played a lot more responsibly and a lot better in the defensive zone. And as the Bolts tried to increase or penetrate the zone, and the Bolts had a lot of difficulty. Where were Kucherov and Stamkos and Point for the most part in this game? Montreal did a really good job of containing their stars, but the bounces went Tampa's way, and Montreal just couldn't finish. One goal is not going to be enough to win, not against Andrei Vasilevskiy.
Yeah, Dave, you mentioned Tampa's stars, but I want to talk about the role players because, Dennis, we talked about them so much in the first game and their role players and how much of an impact that they have on this series, and it was them again in Game 2, wasn't it?
Yeah, hey, go back to Game 7 with Yanni Gourde getting a shorthanded goal to win that game. But tonight, Blake Coleman made a play of a lifetime with 1.1 seconds to go. But I think, Irf, when we talked about Tampa's depth, and absolutely the foot soldiers helped them win the game tonight, they're a very different team without Alex Killorn. You could see there's just not the same. It's not the same gusto offensively. They're not as dangerous around the net. So as much as we talk about how great their depth is, they had a big chance to lose this game, and one of the primary reasons was no Alex Killorn in the lineup, Dave.
Yeah, not having him. I mean, we didn't see as much from Pat Maroon other than some pregame shenanigans. He was trying to get into Ben Sherratt's face. But other than that, we didn't really see too much of that until basically the end of the game where there were a little bit of shenanigans going on then. Other than that, again, Montreal doing a good job containing Tampa's primary offensive weapons. And it was, as you guys said, the role guys that were able to step up for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Montreal just couldn't find a way to penetrate Andrei Vasilevskiy. He had 42 saves in this game, I believe a career high for him, but they weren't able to get anything extra past them. So, look, yeah, this was a game that the Canadiens should have won. Yes, Tampa shows you how dangerous they can be from a depth perspective, but 9 times out of 10, when you play a game the way Montreal did, you're probably winning it. But when you're playing a team that just won the Stanley Cup last year and is back in the final this year, you got to be a lot more dangerous if you want to win.
Yeah, I don't want to touch too much on the goalies because we know how good both of them are. Obviously, Andrei Vasilevskiy might have been a little pissed off because he didn't win the Vezina. Marc-Andre Fleury obviously did. But Dave, hockey's about a game of adjustments. The Montreal Canadiens get their head coach behind the bench for Game 3. Hopefully, if everything goes well, Dominic Ducharme will be behind the bench. What type of adjustments do the Canadiens need to make? And they need to make them quick, don't they?
Oh, they have to. Yeah, I mean, you go down 3-0 to this team at home, doesn't matter. You're done. You're toast. You're not winning 4 of 5 moving forward. So, or 4 of 4, moving forward. So, yeah, the Canadiens definitely have to make some adjustments. Have to make some adjustments in the next game. They started out this game, guys, making a little bit of adjustments of their own when they started Byron, Danault, and Anderson together. They had Danault come out for the faceoff and then put Kotkaniemi back on. So we saw a little bit of adjustments there. And again, defense stronger, more physical were the Canadiens in this game. I liked how they performed for the most part, but just the finish wasn't there. So if they can find a way to put 2 or 3 or more goals against Andrei Vasilevskiy, they should probably win the hockey game. But DB, I just don't know if Tampa's going to allow that to happen.
I don't know if they will, Dave, because you talk about 9 games out of 10, but this was the 10th game. And you needed this game. Like, this was the game. Now, they could win in Game 3, and you'll hear the cliche, we like our game. If we do the things we did in this game, we should win the next game if we get the bounces. It's not good enough. This is Tampa Bay. This is not Toronto. This is not Winnipeg. And this is not Vegas. This is the class of the league right now with a goalie who is playing exceptionally well. Like, you have to outplay them and you have to finish, Dave. You have to do all the things to win, not 9/10. And that's the problem for Montreal going into Game 3.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the class of the league. They might have been outclassed in Game 2, but you know what? The defending Stanley Cup champions found a way to win. Tampa Bay Lightning up 2-0 on the Montreal Canadiens in the Stanley Cup final as we take things to Montreal for Games 3 and 4, gentlemen.